The sun's down, the soldering iron's hot, and you know what that means. Welcome to Night School, where the zip ties are tight, the code is questionable, and the LEDs never sleep. Hosted by the one and only Bobby, the professor of Pixel Mayhem. We're diving deep into lighting tips, tech fails, sketchy workarounds, and the secrets nobody teaches until now. Whether you're mapping props at midnight or just here for the chaos, this is your crash course in RGB enlightenment. So grab your beverage of choice and remember, there's no syllabus, no rules, and no guarantee we'll make it out with all our fingers. This is Night School.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to be going over different mounting options. We have Lauren coming in here in a second. Let's see. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Bobby. How are you, sir?
Good, and yourself?
I have no complaints, unless the Mariners lose again tonight.
Yeah, we've been. I'm big involved into scouting, and my son and I, we were out selling popcorn today, and I'll tell you, it was beautiful weather here in Buffalo. 82 degrees in October. Never thought it would happen.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. We're the same in Seattle. It's sunny. It's usually always raining, especially right about now. But I'll take the sun as long as I can get it.
Okay, so I'm gonna pretty much hand this over to you. Everyone, if you have any questions, please comment, and I'll make sure that they are asked. All right, Lauren, it's all yours.
Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and share. If I can get the right thing here. Try to share that first picture here. There we go. So we're going to kind of go over just a few different things on some of the ways that I did some of the prop mounting in my house. It's changed a little bit over the years. This is actually this year's layout. In the beginning, we did a lot of old school prop mounting with a lot of 3D printed material. A lot of you guys are used to all that out there, and there's still nothing wrong with that. But as my props got heavier, I found out that I kind of needed a little more sturdy props. PVC and 3D printed parts tend to wear out after a few years in the sun and the weather. So we've moved most of ours to metal type mounting systems and a lot of magnets. JR kind of turned me onto that years ago. I even made some of my own magnet mounts, but they weren't quite as strong as the ones that I got on Maddo's site, which kind of holds some of my heavier stuff in place. One of them that I like to use magnets on, which sounds odd, is my icicles. And for those, I use the magnets. But a lot of people go, well, gutters are aluminum. How does that work? I actually just use some flashing, same kind of flashing that would go in the flat part of your overheads. But I put this and attach it to the top of my gutter. And the magnets stick right to it. No issues with that at all. And if I can get down to that last picture here to kind of show where that one is. No, it's not moving over for me. Bobby, if you can move it to picture 2156. There we go. That's my trim, which is the same thing. You can see those are my homemade mounts. I'm trying to see on my picture. Oh, one more over, 2157, Bobby. That would be great. So that shows kind of an upshot of the icicles on the flashing that's on my point. And then on the gutters, I use this for a little extra strength, because you can see the magnet slides a little bit. You really don't want that. I actually put a washer behind it to give it more metal, and that one now does not want to slide. So I've never had them blow off in 4 seasons of being up there with magnets. I put one magnet every foot on my icicles, and they are the Gilbert icicles. So there's a few more lights in them. It's 100 per 5 feet, 100 lights. So there's a little bit of weight with that. So that's why I do the one every 5 foot. Never blown off, never slid off, never fallen off. And we get some pretty good wind out here in the Pacific Northwest. So we've had windstorms up to about 70, and they've still held in place. So cross my fingers it doesn't happen and blow off this year after I've talked about it a little bit. But I really, really support the magnets. I do it also for all of my trim. If you go back to the previous picture on 5.6 and 5.5, that will kind of show my trim. And I do the same thing. And those ones, it's just the trim I do around my windows, my garage. You can kind of see it lower down there as it shoots up on some of the props there. But all of that is strictly done with magnets. I used to have it all done on PVC, which it's still, if that's the way you're going to do it, there's nothing wrong with that. With the 3D printed clips. Some of the clips now have magnets if you want to do that. I've seen them out there. A lot of the different 3D printer have STL files you can do it, or there's a few different companies out there that actually will print them for you if you don't have the time or the printer. And these ones I kind of liked in the beginning when I started doing it. It was a very nice 3D printed model that actually clipped onto the trim around your PVC type window coverings and edging. So that was nice that it would do that. And it would just clip right on, and then you could clip the PVC onto it. So nice little thing. My heavier prop mounts too, as you start to get into some of that stuff I used to do with these, you put them on the prop and then run your EMT through it, which was great until they started getting brittle, or it made it, you had to have a way of mounting it, sliding it through, and then attaching it to the end of your prop. So that made it tough. They have some that will clamp on also and screw tight, which will help with that. But my props got heavier as my show got bigger. I went from smaller props to now I have a lot of HD props with 1,000 or so lights on them. If you want to go back to the very first picture, Bobby 66, with the front of my house, you'll kind of see all the different spinners I have on the over the garage. And those ones are all 1,000 lights. The one over the door is 750 lights. So there's a lot of bit of weight to them. I didn't really trust the 3D printed material to hold that kind of weight. And that they're a little bit difficult to get up. So I went to some different mounting. For these, Gilbert Engineering has some generic prop mounts you can get, or some that are made for their props. But they all mount on EMT, which is a little more sturdy. And then the end of it is threaded. And that's really nice that it's got that threaded piece there. Because how I connect all of my pieces is I will just simply use and screw on a pipe connector, just a basic pipe connector. So when I've got my mount up on the top of my house, whether it's on a full floor flange screwed in, like the one over my door is set up like this. It's got the elbow piece coming down, a little piece of pipe, and then the other flange. So I just have to hold this up and screw it on. And once it's done, it's not going to go anywhere. It holds in nicely and very securely. So that will support the weight. And then to give it some kind of side support, and you can see that this one should be in picture number near the end, number 58. So that's the one that's going over my door. And then I've got a bunch of these little, we all use these when we do our anchors in our yards. Same thing, just to kind of support it so it won't turn. Now it has 3 supports for the weight. So it's not just one point pulling down. So there's some weight spreading when it comes to that. And then if you want to jump clear back to picture 54, that's going to show over the garage, where you can see same kind of thing, but it's turned up. And then I use the same thing across the top to do the support all the way across. I use those tie down anchors basically to help with that part. So it's really nice. And then just kind of show you the back. If we go to picture number 1 and then number 2, these are how I do my spiders that are currently hanging down from the garage. You saw that in the opening picture. And they're just mounted on the inside, and they just screw on and attach. When the season's done, I unscrew that, and they'll screw up the snowflakes. So it's a quick changeover for me. Also, when it comes to those props, easy maintenance, and it's very convenient to do things like that. Other ways some people do it in the past, you can use all kinds of stuff. I use these ones in the yard. These are EMT brackets for EMT. And I use these on my tombstones in my yard, which is picture number 59. And with that one, it's just 4 of them attached to it. And then you just put the EMT down and use rebarb, or I use the fiberglass rebarb down into the ground. And it's a great way of supporting things. And you can do something similar with these props too, on some of your heavier props, which works. Some of the other ones I like to use, and I don't have them up yet because I don't have my snowflakes up, but I love this window mount here. And this one, when JR redid it, it has 2. It became my favorite for windows. The single one was tough because things got to turn on it quite a bit, and I think JR realized that and had it redesigned. This one holds all the snowflakes I put on my windows on the outside of the house, and there again, I've never had them come off. Not that we get severe cold. Some people have mentioned that perhaps they'll loosen up in the cold. We get some cold here. 20 below we'll never get, but we'll get below freezing, and they've never had an issue with anything coming off of them. I used to have these to hold my spiders too, before I went to the different EMT mount, and it held the weight with that. And those were 350 pixels on those ones. So that was a really good option when it came to that. And then if you want to go to number, picture 53, this is my, my matrix. I just see some C-clamps. But then I also use a lot of decorative. These are made for like doing decorative pipe work. But I'm able to flange it into the side and then floor flange it up above, which secures it so it won't move if we have any super strong winds, because it's right up against my garage when the garage closes, as well as another way of distributing the weight across 4 points instead of just the 2 from the hangers coming down. And that's a 5x6 panel matrix, got some good weight, solid metal case, and it has no issues. And it's a lot easier putting it down, putting it up and down with just the clip-ons, as long as you got a couple guys to help you stabilize it. Other than that, I do know, like I mentioned with the magnets, make sure it's on a good metal and not a weaker metal. It likes the stronger metal type. The washers that Matos gives with his are great. They're super thick, and they've got the inset for the screw, so there's nothing that's keeping the magnet from making full contact, which is really what you want to have to make sure they don't move. If you're worried about it marring up your house, I have white trim, so my wife was good as long as you couldn't see it except when you were up close. I know not all wives are like that. Sometimes, though, you have to make a little sacrifice when it comes to mounting just to make sure things are stable. If you get into some more porous materials, I don't have any brick. My buddy who does this in my town does have brick, and he uses a lot of just basic brick anchor types with the same kind of material. He'll brick anchor in magnet mounts, metal washers, so he can use magnets on his bricks. And he actually kind of paints some sort of a brickish color. You can still see them, but not when you're far away. So it doesn't really take away too much from the house when it comes to that. And I think other than that, I mean, the only other one I use that I didn't get a picture of, but it's for the vinyl siding. And I have on the top of the second floor of my house, and you can see it from the first picture. I've got a couple of singing faces up there, as well as a snowflake that's up there for when I flip over. And that's all on vinyl siding. And it's done with these ones here. Much better than the thinner ones you can get on Amazon. It's got more weight distribution when it comes to it. And then the centerpiece, you can use all different kinds of mounting types to it, whether it's screwed in. Mine are all screwed in, if I can get the screw out, but it's a pretty deep channel, so you can get a long screw in there if you have a lot of prop with the thicker wire where you're going to need that room. Or you can use on it a push lock knob, which will pop on and pop off, depending on how you want to have it in there. And that one will stay on there also. So couple of different ways of snapping things on and off for the props. You can use standoffs. That's how I made my own 3D magnet mounts, is with standoffs. These are giant standoffs, basically, that I screwed a screw in the bottom, filled it with a little bit of epoxy to hold the screw in place, so it's got something to hold it, and then screw this in through the prop, just like you would do with anything else. So it's just a giant standoff that you can get on Amazon. And just fill it with a little bit of epoxy, and it will hold the magnet right on the bottom. Do get the strongest magnets you can get. That makes a difference. If you get something too weak, it's not going to hold your prop. And that's about all I have to share, Bobby, unless there's some questions in there.
No, unfortunately, there's no questions. Willie was the only one that commented and saying hello from Kansas City.
Okay.
Well, Lauren, thank you very much for showing us the methods that you use for mounting and to give us ideas on what to do. Yeah, I mean, personally, me, I try to do 0 holes in my house.
And that's tough. It's the heavier it is, the tougher it's to do with the no holes.
Yeah. I mean, I use a lot of 3D printed stuff still. The only time I ever did anything was actually putting little eyelets in, so I use fishing line for a lot of holding stuff up myself.
Yeah. So
but for the heavier stuff, you're right. I mean, you do need the metal. You do need heavier duty stuff. Otherwise, it's going to come down or fly away.
At some point, yeah, that's the last thing you want, something to fall on yourself, or maybe someone coming up and looking at your show. That's the last thing you want there.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on and letting us know what you do. We have hopefully we'll have the triers on with Brian and JR this Tuesday. We have the brew tank on Friday nights, and on Saturday night we've been trying to do poker night.
Well, that's
all on Zoom and brewtank.net. So I'll see you guys next week. Be good, do good. God bless. Go Bills.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for tonight's lesson in light-based lunacy. So smash that subscribe button, zap a comment below, and share your worst tech fail. We might even feature it in the next class. Until then, stay lit, stay learning, and always remember to bring a backup SD card. Night School dismissed.